Woo! Well, that started off kind of with a bang. Oh, guys, I'm so happy. Here we are with some veterans. You guys are not novices. We don't have to debate elementary things like laying on of hands and raising of the dead and stuff like that. Paul, what are you talking about? Oh, yeah, so it's fun just being with you guys. Well, I've got a fun story to tell you. Like I said, I'm going to throw a little log on the fire and maybe a little gas on the fire, and then you guys take over, all right? That shouldn't be a problem. uh, well, I referenced this a couple of weeks ago that on Easter morning, I woke up early and I felt this tug, this little like come away with me kind of tug. And so I got up and I went down to my prayer trail, and I had been contemplating angelic. And so instead of going down one trail, I went down another one. And when I got in there, uh, I was very conscious that, or let's say I had an anticipation that I would encounter angels because I had several times before on this very part of this trail. And that has become a part of my building block of revelation or my stronghold of faith regarding angelic. Some of it I've gotten from that portion of my trail. And so as I moved into that trail, there were redbirds, cardinals, all over the place. There were dozens and dozens and dozens of them. And, I've got all my sensory antennas on 10, waiting to just hear what the Lord might say. And He had spoken to me 3 months, 4 months ago, maybe a little more, through some bluebirds that showed up on that trail. And bluebirds are not common around our area. And I saw several of them that day, which was very uncommon for me. And there's a whole story that made me be very aware of an angel that was associated with the color blue. I don't have the full understanding on that. But anyway, when I saw all these cardinals, I'm like, okay, God, you got my attention. And so I carried with me two little prayer burdens, you might say. And I didn't want to just walk into them and muscle those prayer burdens before these angels and like require them to do stuff. And I think we can do that at times. But this time was much more tender. I felt I wanted to walk in as a learner rather than as a veteran. Because I've been dialoguing with angels for about 15 years. I can't say that I'm very far in, but the level that I'm in, I feel very comfortable with. And anyway, so I just gingerly walked in, and I thought, well, let's just see where that goes. And I prayed into both of those situations. At the end of my time in that trail, a couple really cool things happened, but I sat at a picnic table, and I text one person that I prayed for, and she immediately texts back, says, oh, we just got a report back about the cancer that she thought that she had, and the doc says they think it's benign and it's going to be easy to take care of. So pop, the boogeyman fear thing just kind of poof, got taken away. And well, angels, we had done a little business, and it looks like things are kind of moving along on a better trajectory. So that was cool. Then I called my daughter, who was driving from Kansas City back to Nashville that very day, and I asked her how she was doing because I wanted to pray for my granddaughter, who is, let's say she's got some pretty strong emotions. They can trigger really good or really bad. And here my daughter is with 3 infants or toddlers for 8 hours, 9 hours, and so I had commissioned an angel to accompany my granddaughter and to bring peace to her soul. And like I said, I had walked in this gingerly. Now, that wasn't exactly new territory, but I had several things that I felt like the Lord was doing with me that day. And anyway, I called up my daughter, says, well, how's Ellie doing? Oh, she's back there in the back. She's just doing fine. She's got her iPad and playing a game. She's been doing really great. And so I'm like, okie dokie. So anyway, that portion of the trail has become kind of special to me because I never know exactly what's going to happen. But, well, anyway, up to just a couple days ago, I had watched a video. John Paul Jackson. He'd been transported back 3,500 years to a marketplace in David's day, previous to him being king. And John Paul Jackson, so he was there to be a heralder, a witness that David was supposed to be king. So he's planting seeds in all the people around, everybody he met. David's going to be king. David's going to be king. Well, that stirred my heart kind of like it's doing right now, and I felt that little tug like come away with me, and so I went down to my prayer trail. I didn't feel anything real special, but I walked up on a mile marker right in the very middle of this prayer trail, and I just, as I was walking up, I said, Lord, I haven't really felt anything yet, but I bet you there's something on this mile marker that's going to be special. I walked up there, and what mile do you think it was? 5.5. Well, that's double grace. So I said, well, okay, Lord, I'll take that. I don't always have to feel things. Sometimes you just put installments in your knower so that your knower more firmly knows, if you understand. And so I thought, well, the rest of the time, you know what I'm going to do? Remember the last time we parted ways, we said, let's try communicating with each other when we're in the heavenly places. And just for reference, Hebrews 12 says that we have come to this mountain, and one of the aspects that are in this mountain are those whose names are registered in heaven. And your name and my name is registered in heaven. That means we're in heaven. Well, then could we develop a capacity of communication that would supersede the natural realm, the physical realm? I believe the answer is yes. I think we have not only biblical but historical precedent for that. So here I am on this little trail, and I thought, well, I'm going to try it. So I sent a message to Craig, and I said, Craig, are you ready? Let's try something. So I sent this message, and then I sent a message to Paul, and I said, Paul, this could be kind of weird, kind of crazy. Don't make it real heavy duty, hyper spiritual or anything, because this could be different. And I sent a message to Les. And I said, Les, it could be wacky, it could be out in left field. So just, don't just kind of let your mind anchor on something that sounds spiritual necessarily. And so next week maybe we'll try the rest of you. Jerry, I wanted to do it with you, but I just never had time after that. I was going home, and I never could get my mind settled down to where I could feel like my spirit man was engaged. I didn't want to just do something with my mind, Okay. Well, anyway, so I talked to Craig. I went over to his house. I said, well, I got to unpack this. Is this thing working? And, well, I think it was pretty much a big strikeout on that one. Let's say first strike, okay? And I told each of the guys, I says, now, let me just qualify this thing, is that if there's any breakdown on this, I accept full liability. I'm the responsible party, all right? So I just haven't learned how to feel that, and pick up impressions. So I'll be the one to accept full responsibility. So Craig and we kind of figured that one didn't work out so well. Well, then I called Paul on the way up yesterday, and I said, Paul, how'd it go? What'd you get? he got something, and if we really, really pulled on it, if we really crammed it, it might have something maybe hooked up. We don't know. But I think it was pretty much second strike. I'm like, I swung 3 times, and now I got 2 strikes, and now I got less to go. And so I called Les. I said, Les, you better come up with a good answer, because I'm going to strike out here if we're not careful. So, well, Les had just promptly overlooked the whole thing. So, gosh, now that was kind of... Thank you, Les. I appreciate that. Anyway, so I told him what I had felt. And here's the message I sent him. The message I said it was going to be weird. And the message was, well, she can cry if she wants to. Now, that's kind of a weird one, but the song came to mind. As soon as I said, Lord, what message? The song came to mind. Let her dream, for she's a lady. Let her cry, for she's a child. Too high. Let the rain fall down upon her. She's a dead and gentle flower growing wild. Okay, I murdered that, but you get the idea. And the message was, well, she can cry if she wants to. Well, at first, Les didn't have any idea, but Les, if you want to tell the story, we don't need to tell any names. And I think there's something too that now this is I'm talking beyond what I know, okay, which might be the case a lot of the time. But anyway, I think it's possible that there is a commerce exchange, a transfer from spirit to spirit that may not necessarily go through the cognitive awareness channels. And so as we find ourselves being in the spirit realm together, well, I'll mention one thing. Twice now I've had spiritual experiences where I've traveled somewhere and I've communicated via light, meaning I transferred a message from me to the other person via light without words. And I knew it was real. And now, could I prove that? No. But I felt very confident that real transfer occurred. But I think I knew the essence of what was transferred, but I didn't know the words of what were transferred. So anyway, maybe, Paul, there was something like that. Because one of these days, guys, and this is touching me again, our Father's desire and our inheritance is that we live more in heaven than we live on earth. Rod, you quote me out of my book, and how I can't even remember the quote. Something about who knows, but heaven may not be that far away. I wrote it in my book, and I kind of forgotten it. But that's our Father's desire. Jesus said it in John 17. Oh, Father, my desire is that they would be with me where I am. And here we are, relegated to just being mere mortals in most people's minds. But he says, no, I want them to be with me where I am. And so I think he wants to open up this realm with great desire. He wants to open it up for us so that we find our capacity to live and move and have our being where? In him. And so I think we're on a good trajectory. And again, Rod, as long as we stay like a little child and don't beat ourselves up if we take 2 swings and miss it, or whatever. And we maybe didn't miss it at all. So Father, and you guys get ready to share something else, but Father, we just feel the stirrings, the longings being awakened in us to live with you, to live with you more fully, with more reality. That the barriers of earth and the laws of physics would not restrain us one iota, because there would be a greater and a higher reality, the laws that would govern us, empower us, and truly set us free. It was for freedom that the Son set us free. So thank you, Lord. It's our desire to follow you wholeheartedly, fully in all of our functions and capacities into where you are.